Hey, good morning. We're doing a little workup this morning with my little Rosie Nosy here, who, if you had seen me on social media, she got snatched up or attempted to get snatched up by something. We don't know what it was. My husband and the dog just so happened to be outside when the attack happened, and he gave chase to whatever it was. He saw a figure, but it moved really, really fast. We think it might have been a bobcat. We've been seeing tracks around, and it was on the ground. It wasn't like it was trying to fly away. So we think it might have been a bobcat that tried to get her. But it mostly got just feathers. There was a big plume of feathers in the yard, and when I've done some inspections on her and stuff, she has quite a bit of her feathers that are missing. So we thought we lost her. We followed the trail of feathers into the woods, like we were, tracking an animal, and we saw an area where there was feathers underneath some down sticks and stuff, and then there was a disturbance in the ground. I couldn't tell what the track was though. I believe it to be a ground animal because a hawk or something like that, it would have been far too light to have made that deep of an impression in the ground. And we looked around, we couldn't find any more feathers, we couldn't find a body, we couldn't find anything. So we were like, well, I guess, food chain's fighting back. And we ended up kind of calling the search off after a while and just assumed that we had lost her, but we hadn't. She is a tough bird, and she somehow circled around and got back into the coop without anybody knowing, and tucked herself into the coop, into a corner, and she was there all day. Didn't even know that she was there. So she stayed okay. She survived. But she is, I think basically in shock. And she, as far as I can tell, she hasn't been eating or drinking. I've been listening, I've been trying to watch, I've been trying to monitor her food and her water, but I don't think she's really consuming. I've tried to hand feed her. She took a few little crumbs, not much, and she really didn't want to have any water. So I'm a little concerned, particularly about the lack of fluid intakes. So I have a little pipette thing that I'm gonna take some of from her water. I've got electrolyte solution in it, some Rooster Booster, and we're gonna go ahead and try and put that down her beak. She is actually moving, which yesterday she was not moving at all. So that's kind of encouraging that she's doing something, and it appears as though in the back there that there's a darker spot in the pine shaving, so she may have actually relieved herself, which is, again, I think another good sign. Maybe she was ingesting some liquids that when I wasn't really watching. So today we're gonna attempt to give her another once over. I looked her over before, and I couldn't tell any physical exterior injury other than like she was basically getting plucked, which is, traumatic. Can you imagine all your hair getting ripped out at once? She looks puffy to me, but it could also be that's just the way she's sitting, kind of laying on the ground, and she's kind of sprawled out a little bit. I was concerned that possibly she had a ruptured air sac, because especially in the front, she looks very like big. But it could be literally that's just the way she's sitting, and there's nothing wrong with her air sacs. She is breathing, but if you can kind of see her, I would almost say like she's labored breathing, but I don't know. That might not be labored breathing for a chicken in that position. So unfortunately, I hate doing this to the chickens, but she kind of needs a better once over, and she definitely needs some fluids. So we're gonna have to kind of harass her a little bit. Little pipette, and this is her waterer. And so all I'm literally going to do is, I don't know how well this is gonna work one-handed, but just try and get some water and fill it up a little bit. She's probably not going to take a lot, but this thing also doesn't hold a lot, so I'm going to try and fill it up a little bit, and we'll see how this goes. All right. See how this works. She's not very come here, babes. Come here. Come on. Come on, give me your face. See, she gets a little bit nasty. Even oh, come on. Woo. Oh Lord. Now this is not looking so good. She she's not looking very good. She did pass a stool here, so well, she's awake for a second. That's even a good sign. She's getting up and she's trying to do stuff, but now she's stumbling. So I don't know. This is unfortunately one of the things about having animals, even with like a dog, the help that we can get through veterinarians, it can be great, but sometimes there's just limitations.